Hey, it's me, Crystal, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Cozy Hearts Crochet Mug Cozy. For this pattern, I'm using a 5mm H hook, and I'm also using some Heartland yarn, which is a worsted weight acrylic, and you'll find all the information about this down in the description. There's a link to the blog post with the pattern. But to start, we're going to chain 5 with our main color. For this section, we're going to be making the bottom ribbing of the cozy. So here's our chain 5, and you're going to just single crochet in the second chain from your hook. And then go ahead and single crochet in the other 3 chains as well. So you'll have 4 stitches all together. So now we have our 4 stitches, and now we gotta turn. So you're gonna chain 1, and then turn your work the other way. And now we're going to be working in the back loop only. Here's our stitches, and we're going to just be going under that back loop of each one instead of both loops. So go under the back loop of the first stitch and make a single crochet. And then go ahead and do that with the other 3 stitches too. Once you get to the end of the row, you're just going to again chain 1 and turn. Or in this case, I turned and then chained 1, but either way will work. And then repeat. You're just going to be working in the back loop only for each row and just single crocheting in each stitch. And you're going to repeat this until you have 33 rows all together. Once you have 33 rows all complete, we're now going to turn our work and work along the long side and work into that edge. So here's where we ended. Now we're going to turn our work a quarter turn going clockwise and then chain 1. And we're just going to be working along this long edge. So the first stitch is going to go right past where our stitches, where our chain is coming up, but not in that spot. Just slightly to the left. There's a little space there before the first ridge. So make your first single crochet there, and then you're going to work into one of these loops right here on this ridge edge. And I just went under 1 because it was too hard to get under more than 1 loop. But you just got to kind of use your fingernail and use it to help you get your hook under that loop. And of course my yarn is splitting on me, but there we go. Make another single crochet there. And then again, you'll be going in this little space before the next ridge. And then in the next ridge, again, just like we just did, make a single crochet there. And you're just going to repeat that going all the way across the edge. So by the time you finish, you'll have 33 single crochets all together. And there's what it'll look like. So here I'm at the end. I'm doing the last one in the corner. And now I've got my 33 single crochets. Definitely stop and count just to make sure. But there we go. Now you're going to chain 2 and then turn And for this row, you're going to half double crochet in that first stitch, the one that the chain's coming out of. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And then half double crochet in the rest of the stitches going down the row. When you get to the end of the row, after you do your last half double crochet, we're gonna cut the yarn and finish off before we start the next row, as we're gonna change colors. Then you're gonna pull the yarn tail through the loop and pull it to tighten. And then you're gonna grab your other color of yarn. So go ahead and turn your work, grab the next color, and then I'm just going to use my hook to thread it through that first stitch of the row. Just tie a double knot with the yarn right in that stitch. And then you're going to insert your hook into the stitch where you just tied the yarn to, and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through, and that's going to count as your first chain, and then chain 3 more times. So it's a chain 4, yarn over, and then we're going to skip 3 stitches and we're going to be working in the 4th stitch over. So this one right here. And you're going to be inserting your hook under the 3rd loop, so it goes under all 3 loops of the half double crochet. So we're doing a cluster stitch right now. So first you're going to yarn over and you insert your hook under that 3rd loop, so it's under all 3. And then you're going to pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, then yarn over again, go in the same spot and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and then one more time, yarn over, go back into that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And that's one cluster, it's half of our heart. Now you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to make another cluster in the same stitch. So yarn over, insert into that stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And there's our first cute little heart. Now you're going to chain 2, and you're going to skip 5 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in the 6th one over, you're going to make your next heart of 2 clusters with a chain 2 space. So same thing, make sure you go under the 3rd loop, and then you're just going to go ahead and make your next cluster. And then once you get the first cluster done, you're going to go ahead and chain 2. And then make another cluster in the same space. And you're just going to repeat this going down the row. You're going to chain 2 in between, skip 5 stitches, and then you're going to make your heart cluster in the 6th stitch over. You're going to do that until there's only 4 stitches remaining. Once you get to the end and there's only 4 stitches left, you're going to chain 3, skip 3 stitches, and then you're going to slip stitch in the last stitch of the row, just under the 2 loops this time. There you go, and then go ahead and you can cut your yarn, which I already did, but just pretend like you're cutting your yarn there, and then pull the end through the loop and tighten it. And that is the heart row. Now we're gonna turn our work again, and then we're gonna grab our regular color we've been using, and we're gonna join it in the same stitch where we joined the red with a slip stitch just now. So right under there, you're gonna insert your hook and then thread the yarn through there. And then you're going to tie it just like we did with the beginning of the last row. Just tie a double knot, and it's going to go right over the red yarn. Now you're going to insert your hook into that same spot, bring up a loop, yarn over and pull it through. And that'll be your first chain, and then you're going to chain 2 more times, and that's going to count as the first stitch. And then you're going to half double crochet in the first skipped stitch and the second skipped stitch, and you're working over that red chain. So you're just working right around it, making your half double crochet so it kind of hides that yarn. And do that for the next skip stitch as well. Then you're going to chain 2, and you're going to make 1 single crochet right in the chain 2 space in the center of the clusters. Then you're going to chain 2 again. And now you're going to half double crochet in the center 3 skipped stitches of this section of 5 skip stitches. So there's one there on the left and one on the right that you're just going to ignore. You're just going to be working in those 3 in the middle there. So we're going to do the first one. We're going to yarn over and go into this one right here. So it's basically the second skip stitch over, and you're just going to half double crochet in there, and I'm sorry it went off camera for a second, and then repeat that in the middle one. And then 1 more in the third one. You see your heart design kind of looks a little more hardy now. And then you chain 2 again. Single crochet in the center of the heart in that chain 2 space. Then chain 2 again. And then you're going to make your 3 half double crochets in the 3 stitches between the hearts. And you're just going to repeat this going down the row until you get to your last heart. Alright, once you get to the last one, I've done my single crochet in the top and I did my chain 2. So now I'm half double crocheting in the second to the last skipped stitch and then in the last skipped stitch, going over the chain. And then in the very last stitch, you're going to half double crochet right in the stitch. It's from the previous row. So just go right in there. And there you go. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn or turn and chain 1. And you're going to single crochet in that same stitch. And then you're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then you're going to make 1 single crochet in that chain space. And then 1 in the single crochet that's in the middle of the heart. In the chain space again, you'll make another single crochet. Then you're going to single crochet in the next 3 half doubles. And you're just going to repeat that across. So single crochet in that chain space again, in the chain or in the single crochet in the middle, and then in the next chain space. And just continue that across until you get to the end. Here I've done my last single crochet in a chain space, and now I'm just going to single crochet in the last 3 stitches. Well, the last stitch is a chain 3, so you just single crochet in the top of that chain 3. And I like to try to go under both loops, which is kind of hard to do, but I think it looks better, so that's up to you. You can just go through 1 loop if you don't want to mess with it. I just think it looks a little bit more like a regular stitch if you do under both loops. So there you go. And now we're going to make our other ribbing section. So to start, we're going to turn our work, and then you're going to chain 5 times. And now we're going to work down this row of chains. You're going to single crochet in the second chain from your hook. And then in the rest of the chain, so you'll have 4 single crochets all together. Okay, now we're gonna slip stitch in the next 2 stitches along the edge. So you're not doing the first stitch that we already are coming out of. You're just slip stitching into the next 2 stitches. And then you turn the whole thing. And now we're just gonna be working in the 4 ribbing stitches. So you skip those 2 slip stitches completely. And you're gonna just be working in the back loop only and single crochet into the back loop of each of those ribbing stitches. When you get to the end, you're gonna turn and then chain 1 or chain 1 and turn. And you're going to work in the back loop only of each of the 4 stitches again, just single crocheting. And then along the edge, we're going to slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. So this one here, slip stitch in there, and then slip stitch in the next one. And then turn it around again, and we're going to just continue that. Working in the back loop only of all of the ribbing stitches. There's all 4 of them there. And you're just going to repeat this going all the way down until you've done all 33 rows of ribbing. Chain 1 and turn. And you're going to single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch again. and then slip stitch to the next 2 stitches on the row. So not the one that it's coming out of, but the next 2. So just continue that going down the row until you get to the end. And here I am at the end, and I only have 2 stitches left to slip stitch into. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then I'm going to turn around and do the last 2 rows of ribbing in the back loop only. And once I get done with this last row, I'll show you how to finish off. Just go ahead and do your last 4 single crochets in the back loop. Then you're going to just slip stitch in that last stitch along the edge, the one we already did the slip stitch to, but we're going to slip stitch in that again, and that will finish off our row. So then just go ahead and cut your yarn and pull it through the loop on your hook, and then pull it to tighten. And now at this point, this is the back side, and we're going to flip it over, and this is the front. And go ahead and weave in all your ends that you have so far. Once you get all of the ends woven in, we'll start on the straps to hold our cup cozy onto our mug. All right, with the right side facing you, you're going to join your main color to the bottom right corner. So we're going to start right here in the bottom right. And we're going to tie our yarn on just like we did before. So insert your hook into that first stitch and pull your yarn through and tie it on with a double knot. Then you're going to insert your hook into that same stitch, and you're going to pull the yarn, you're going to yarn over and pull through just like we did before, and then you're going to yarn over and pull it through, and that's like a chain 1. And then we're going to single crochet in that same stitch. And then in the next 3 stitches going down the ribbing section. Then you're going to make 2 single crochets in the side between the red post part, the red part there. Just make 2 single crochets evenly along the side, and it's just kind of, it's not necessarily going to be in any specific spot, just wherever looks good. Just make 2 that are evenly spaced. And then around the center part with the red yarn, we're going to do a front post single crochet to kind of hide that a little bit. So insert your hook on the right side of it and bring it out on the left side of that chain part. And then you're going to yarn over and pull it through. And then you're going to yarn over again and pull it through both loops, and you're kind of making it so the yarn is centered there on the front of that, so it kind of hides that edge of the red yarn a little bit. Then you're going to make 2 more single crochets on the left side of that part, just the same as you did on the other side, kind of wherever just seems to make sense. And then your last 4 stitches will be in the other ribbing section. So see, that kind of gives you that nicer edge, makes it look a little neater. We'll hide that end in a minute, but it gives you a nice edge there. So now your last 4 stitches will be here in the ribbing. And once you get that last stitch in the corner, and here our edge is done, we're now going to do our chain for our strap. So you're going to chain 15 times. And try to make them nice and neat and the same size and all that, not twisted or anything. And once you get that done, you're going to pull it over to the other corner. And we're going to attach it to that corner with a slip stitch. So insert into that first stitch, yarn over, and just pull it through all the loops. And there you go. Now we just have to cut the yarn and leave enough of a tail that you can weave it in. And then pull that yarn through the loop on your hook and pull it to tighten. You can take both of those ends and tie a knot, just so it's really on there nice and secure. And then you can just weave those ends in and hide them, and you won't be able to see them anymore. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side, except you're going to be starting in this top left corner. And you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to attach your yarn here in the corner with a knot. Chain 1, and then we're going to do a single crochet in that same stitch. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Then single crochet in 2 spots between the ribbing and the red chain in the middle. Then do a front post single crochet around that chain. So I'll go in through the right and come out on the left. And it's kind of down a little bit. It's not right at the very edge. And then finish your front post single crochet so it kind of camouflages that red little part there on the corner or on the edge. Then make 2 single crochets on the other side evenly before you get to the ribbing. And then in your last 4 in the last ribbing band. All right, there's our last edge. We got a nice clean edge there. We can do our chain 15. And then bring it over to the other corner and attach it to that corner stitch with a slip stitch. Cut the yarn and just leave a long enough tail that you can easily weave it in when you're done. And pull it through that last loop on your hook and pull it to tighten. And then again, take those 2 ends of the yarn and tie a double knot to hold it in place so it doesn't come off when you're wrapping it around your favorite coffee mug. And then you can just weave those ends in and your coffee mug is complete. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to check down in the description for a link to the written pattern. And I also have this pattern for sale in my shop if you want a printable version. And you can check that out. I think it turned out super cute. It'll keep your coffee a little warmer or protect your hands if your coffee is super hot. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please leave a like. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos, and I'll see you next time.